Hello, guys. How are we doing? I hope we had a brilliant holiday season, and we are looking forward to the new year. For those of you who were lucky enough to get Modern Warfare 2 for Christmas or for whatever you guys were celebrating, I'm going to be making a weapon tier list Modern Warfare 2 in this video, and we're going to be going through and ranking every single weapon in the game. So if you're wondering what gun to aim to level up or aim to use, this should help you identify what guns are meta, which ones aren't so good, and which ones to definitely avoid. So yeah, that's going to be the game. Just a bit of background. I have played with every single one of these weapons a lot. I've actually managed to get platinum on all my guns at this point. So I've used them, some of them painfully more than I would like to have used them. But yeah, generally speaking, I've used these quite a lot. And let's just get into it, shall we? Let's get into it. So the first is going to be the 5556 Icarus. I'm going to put this. It's very good. I'd say very good. So I'm just going to put it in high. I wouldn't say it's top tier. I'm going to say that it's high. It's a good gun to use. The Baz P is one of the new SMGs, DLC SMGs, and I didn't really like that. I'm not going to. I don't know. I might change these values. I'm just going to chuck him in here for now. The Basilisk. Now, when I used the Basilisk, it was pre-nerf. I don't think they've officially nerfed it, but it was a one-hit kill, and it made it very good fun to use, even as a secondary. So I'm going to be ranking these secondaries not as secondaries. I'm going to be ranking them as if I was to use them as a primary gun. How would it stack up against the rest? Um, and yes, I'm saying I'd prefer to use the Basilisk than the Baz P. That is what I'm saying. Um, Moving on to the Bryson 800 as the shotgun. This is a very good shotgun. I might put that high tier. They're just OP, aren't they? I mean, they're very good. It's a very good gun. One of the better shotguns for sure. Bryson 890, in my opinion, not so good. So that'll be going down to, I'm going to say, it's not awful. I'm going to say mid. Yeah, it's not awful, but, I don't think it's even up here in B tier. And we've got the, I'm going to call it the Honey Badger, just because that's actually what it is, in my opinion. But this is a very good gun. I'd put that at the top of the list so far, what we've got. And then we move on to the combat knife. Now, the combat knife as a primary weapon isn't great, just because obviously it's a melee gun, a melee weapon. So, although it is fun and it was easy to get gold, I'm still going to put it in low. It still gives you the versatility to run around. You've got super high mobility with it, so I'm not going to put it in awful. But yeah, I'm going to put it in low. I might change this. We'll see. Now the EBR mid, very mid, very very mid. I'm going to put it up here. Depending on your playstyle, I'm a bit more of an aggressive to like I'm in slightly more aggressive than I would say passive, and I like to move a little bit around the map. So the EBR is sort of not doesn't suit my playstyle, so I'm putting that mid. Then we've got the Expedite 12, which is another very good shotgun. I'm going to put it just below the Bryson 800. Actually, I might put it down here. I might put it potentially below the Basilisk. Yeah, that's where it's going to go. Now the Fennec 45 is going to go up there. It is a very, very quick killing SMG. If you are using it as an SMG, obviously it does fail to be good at those longer ranges, but as far as SMG goes, it's very good SMG. Yeah, if you keep your engagements into those short distances, you are going to beam with it. It's going to hit like a shotgun, and it's very forgiving because of the fast fire rate. Now we move on to the FSS Hurricane. It's a little bit of a weaker SMG, a little less mobility, but it's got a good high round mag, and it's fairly accurate at long range. It doesn't have much recoil. So for this reason, I'm going to put it in high. I'm going to put it above the Icarus, below the Chimera, and yeah, that's what we're going to put it in. FTAC Recon. So this is a battle rifle, single fire, which can be transferred into auto fire, but it's only got 10 rounds in a magazine. It's okay. Again, I am going to put this mid just because it's not my sort of weapon. It's not satisfying enough to put in upper mid as far as battle rifles go. Yeah, next is an LMG, the HCR56. Now, after I had completed all guns gold, the HCR56 was actually my highest KD gun. It's a very good gun to use. It's very powerful, and it's got a good clean iron sight, which means you don't have to put a scope on it itself. And for that reason, I'm going to put it slightly above the Icarus. I'm not going to say it's top tier. I'd still prefer to use the Hurricane or the Chimera above it. Um, I'm thinking the Icarus is a little bit high up here, but we'll see. We'll see. We might have to move things around towards the end. Next, we're going to have the Joker, and that's simply going there. It's slow. It takes a while to shoot. it's just not great at killing people. Killing kill streaks, it's great, and on shipment, it's actually not too bad to use. But if you're going to use it as a primary gun, it's just not the gun to use. Yeah. So you'll find most launches down there, I would say. Next, we have the Cast of 545, which actually was awful. Actually, not awful. It wasn't great, but it has since had a buff, and therefore I would still put it in. Uh, it's a very usable gun. I'm going to say that. It's a very usable gun. I'm going to put it probably highest area of this, although I'd prefer to use it in the Icarus. You know what? Let me do this. Yeah, we're going to go with that. We're going to go with that. For sure. Yeah. Okay. I'm happy with that. And then we have the Cast of 7.4, which is basically the AK-74U. And it's an AR, but it plays like a sub. It's the most. It's been GA'd in competitive Call of Duty, and it's just a do-it-all gun. It has been nerfed slightly, but it still shits on most other guns. So for that reason, it's going there. Top of the list so far. Then we have the Cast of 7.62, which is a less mobile but harder hitting version of the 5.45, and as a result, I prefer to use it more. And there, I'm going to actually put that. It's actually very good, very good. I want to put it there. I'm going to put it top of the high tier. As I say, we'll go through and potentially change these. And if you do disagree or think I've put somewhere in the wrong place, make sure you guys leave a comment below saying where I've cocked up. It'd be good to know. So LAB 330 is one of the worst snipers I think in the game. It's fun to use, but it just doesn't hit that spot. It's a bit mid, I'd say. I'd much rather use any of these guns up here than use that. And I'm still saying the bad piece there. Actually, you know what? I want to put it there. Then we have the Lockman 5.56, or it's got 5.60. I don't think it's that. Okay, very mid-range, like not amazing gun. I'm probably just going to put that there. Not amazing, nothing crazy, but it's a solid AR. Lockman 7.62 is another battle rifle, but in my opinion, one of the worst ones I've ever used. So that's going to go probably here. I'd rather use every other gun on the list, bar the combat knife and Joker, other than this gun. Then we have the Lockman Sub, which is actually pretty much an MP5, and I'm pretty happy using this in most situations. It's one of the higher tier SMGs, and as a result, I am going to put. I'd prefer to use the Hurricane. I'm going to put it here. Actually, Bryson 100. I'm going to put it top tier, upper mid. Yeah, that's where it belongs in my head. Then we've got the LMS, which is actually one of the better ones for the Marksman rifles. But still nothing crazy. It's a little bit less forgiving than the FTAC and the EBR, so I'm going to pop it here. Lock 300 is very powerful. I'm actually going to put that above the HCR just because of its brute range and one-shot kill potential at good distances, as well as its strength at close range. It does only have. It's like the 7.25 from Modern Warfare 19. It does only have 2 rounds in a mag, or it's double barrel. So yeah, let's crack on. Lockwood Mark 2, very OP. I'm actually going to put this top tier because once you get used to it, and once you're the ceiling for this gun is super high. Like it's a one-shot kill to like the upper torso and the head. ADS is almost instantly, and it just feels like a broken gun when I was using it. So that's why I'm putting it at top tier. Let's move it there actually. M13B, not great. Not great. I'm gonna probably put it. I'd rather use the Basilisk, so I'm putting it there. Then we have the M16, which actually I think is a very underrated gun. It's good fun to use, and it's not powerful. Like it's can be a 1 burst, but most of the time it's a 2 burst kill, which I actually don't think is a problem. So I'm going to put it upper mid. I don't think it's quite mid. I think it's a little bit better than that, and I'm going to put it right about there. There we are. Then we have the M4, which, without saying anything, is just going to go there. It's very powerful. Fire rate makes it quite forgiving. It's good at long ranges with a certain attachments, and it also can beat SMGs up close because, as I say, it's very forgiving, and the headshot potential with this gun is quite high. So yeah, top tier. Then we've got the MCPR, which is the first sniper you unlock, and it's actually a very good sniper. It's fun to use. I'm going to put this in upper mid, but where I don't know. Potentially here. I'd rather use it than the M13B, I think. And the Expedite 12, I think I'm not. Let me leave that there. put that there. Then we have the mini back. So when I first used this, it hadn't been nerfed yet, but it has since been nerfed, making it a little bit weaker. But this has got such a huge magazine. I think it's better than the Hurricane, but I don't think it's quite as good as the Fennec or the Cas of 7 4U. So I am going to put it um, slightly in front of the Hurricane. You know, I'd rather use it than that, to be honest. You know what? I'd rather use it than that. Let's leave it there. See how it goes there. Oh, MX9. MX9, not a great gun. Really not a great gun. Um, it's the worst SMG I think I use. It's an absolute pea shooter. I'm gonna put it lower mid. Um, Probably there. I'm gonna say. You know what? I'd rather use the Lockman 762. I'm putting it there. Not a great gun whatsoever. P890. Now, I was frying with this gun. I naturally nearly broke my shipment record with this gun. It's a 2 bullet kill pretty much with the right attachments, and it just fries. So I'm actually gonna. This is probably. It's not easy to use, but if you can use it, it's very high tier. I'm probably gonna put it right about there. It does depend on what map you've got. You don't want a long range map with this, but if you're just running around with this and you're sticking to buildings and stuff, honestly, it fries. I'd much rather use this than any of the others um, at close range. Then we've got the PDSW 528, which is pretty much the P90. Again, another fun gun to use. It's probably not in the high tier, but I'd probably put it slightly below the M16. Yeah, super mobile, quite accurate, fast fire rate, large mag, just a bit weak. Then we've got the Peeler, which I'm honestly going to put again bottom here. I think it's better than the Joker, but still not better than the Knife. It's awful. The RAL MG, probably one of my favourite LMGs to use, bar the HCR. So where did I put the HCR? That's all the way at the top there. So I'm actually probably going to put it behind the Cast Off 545. There we are. The Rap H, not bad. I pretty much made this a sub when I used this and it fried, so I am going to put this in upper mid. Probably one up from the MCPR. Then we have the Riot Shield, which as a primary weapon is absolutely awful. It's good for objective play and things like that, but as far as killing power, it's atrocious. I mean, it's worse than any of the, you know, unless you're playing shipment, it's pretty much useless. And I'm not the sort to have it as overkill, so it's pretty much useless to me. Then we have the RPG, which I am actually going to put above the combat knife. The RPG is the only one where it's a little bit more mobile and it has a decent amount. It's actually the most usable launcher and probably a little bit more reasonable to use in the combat knife and any of the launchers, so that's why it's put there. RPK, very good, very, I'd say, high tier. So that's going to go just there. The SA50B is a marksman rifle, which very powerful marksman rifle, got to be said. So I'm going to put it here. It's similar to the Lockwood Mark II, but it's a little bit slower generally. And then we have the Sakin, which I'm just going to say is very, very mid. I'm going to put it high end of mid. I don't think it's quite as good as the M13, but then I think it's far better. I think it's better than the F-TAC, I think. So that's what's going in there. And the Signal 50 is actually a solid sniper. The fact that it's not bolt action makes it quite versatile and forgiving. I wouldn't say it was better than the MCPR, but I think it's better than. I think I'm going to literally put it right next to it. SO14 was a very fun gun to use, especially in that full auto mode. If you guys haven't tried it in full auto mode, you need to. I did a video on it when I was. If you look back a couple of videos ago, it's where I was considering Shooter House as a CDL map. I go 14-1 or something on S&D in 6 rounds, so it fries. So make sure you check that out if you haven't already. But SO14, I'm actually going to put high tier. It's probably better than the RPK and the RAL and the 545. So yeah, I'm going to leave it there. Bit of a weird one, probably a bit of an odd one to place to put this, but I thought it was really strong. Then we have the SPR, which is a very strong. It's a pretty much the same gun as the where is it gone? I don't know what it is. Where is it? Pretty much the same gun as the SMB50, but a little bit less forgiving. So I'm going to put it just below it. Pretty much the same gun, let's be fair. Then we have the SPX80, which is another sniper rifle. Probably my favorite sniper rifle. I'm going to put it just about there. Super fun gun to use. It's just very similar to the intervention from the OG CODs. So yeah, that's where it goes. Then we have the STB 556, which I think is another overlooked yet very powerful gun. Another gun which was GA'd or banned from the professional COD league. So it's got to be good, right? It's another do it all AR, and as a result, I am going to put that towards the top of high tier. Yeah, bear in mind, all of these top tier guns so far have been GA'd or banned from the CDL, so um, which is probably interesting, but that's probably why, because they're really too top tier. Strela P, I prefer it to the Peeler, but it's not as good as the Combat Knife RPG. Then we have the TAC 56, which is a very solid gun. I am sort of leaving this top tier to like really specifically decent, like overpowered guns. So I don't think this quite deserves to be in there, but I think it is better than the rest of these in high tier. You know, I want to put it low. I'm going to put it low top tier because it's meta, but it's not quite as good as the rest of the guns up there. Then we have the TAC M, which is pretty much the battle rifle version of the SCAR or the TAC 56. It's okay. I'm going to put it probably the best out of these lot. So I'm going to pop it here, but I don't think it's quite as good as the M16 or when you get into this sort of area of guns. The TAC V is the Marksman rifle version, but you can have it full auto, and it is ridiculous. It's very good, but it's just not very accurate. So for that reason, I'm going to put it slightly below the TAC 56, but I think it's still going to be better than most of these guns here, just because it does have a lot. It packs a big punch. We've then got the Vaznev, which I am going to put here. It is a solid SMG. It's the meta SMG you're going to see people using, but I don't think it's quite as good as the rest of it. I don't think it's quite as OP as the Fennec, and I think these do a better job of being overpowered in comparison. We then have the Vel, which is also as bad as the MX9. It's slightly better than the MX9, but not quite. So I'm probably going to put that. No, I might put that there. I think it's better than the Baz P. I think it's better than the Lockman 762, but I don't think it's quite as good as the LA. No, I think that's doing an injustice. Lower mid. I'm putting it lower mid. I'd much rather use any gun above that than the actual gun itself, especially on my playstyle. And then I have the Victus, which is a DLC sniper, and I haven't really had much chance to use this, to be honest. So it's going to be I'm going to leave that out because I don't want to. I'll be lying if I said I knew how to use it. X12, low. It's going to go there. X13 auto, pretty much the X12 but automatic, and it's not quite as good as any primary weapon, to be honest with you, but just because it can only maybe kill 1 or 2 people in a magazine, it can kill quickly, however, but I don't think it's quite up here with any of these. The P890 is far superior, especially if you're a worse player, I suggest the X13 because it's full auto, so you don't really need too much skill to use it. But I think if you do have a little bit of skill in your hands, you're not bad on the old toy, you can definitely master the P890 and it does fry. And then finally, we've got the Deagle, which is if I'm honest, really underwhelming compared to other Deagles. I'm going to put it low. You can build a solid build without much recoil and with a high fire rate, but it just means that it then has awful mobility. And on the other hand, if you do the similar thing, if you make it really mobile, it just means the fire rate is slow and like the recoil's through the roof. It's nowhere near as good as it was on any of the old CODs. So let's have a quick review of what we've got here. So in the top tier, we've got 74U, M4, Lockwood Mark II. The only obscure one here, I think, is this. The Fennec, which is just OP. The Vaznev 9K, which is the meta SMG, and then the TAC 56, which is another meta AR at the moment. So it's basically, but my top 2 tiers are pretty much filled with OP shotguns, OP LMGs, subs, and ARs. Pretty much. I'm quite happy with where these are. The only thing that I'd probably consider putting down is the RAL. I think I'm being a bit too reasonable with that. I think I'd definitely prefer to use a couple of other guns over that. I think this is an outlier. I need to move this. I'm going to put it just below the M16. I think that's a little bit more realistic. Yeah, I'm fairly happy with this. The only if you've got any reasons as to why I've got something random up there, or you think something's too low, let me know in the comments, and I'll sort of justify it as best as I can. But generally, I'm quite happy with this. I've got a couple of snipers up in the upper mid section just because I enjoy using snipers quite a lot. um, and they're very easy to use in this game. So, especially in S&D, like they fry in S&D, you can hold off a whole lane and are quite forgiving. So happy with that. And then, yeah, as you can tell, I'm not a fan of the launchers just because I don't think they're not good primary weapons. So yeah, that's going to do it. I hope you enjoyed the video. Next video I've got is going to be an actual gameplay for you guys, and that'll be coming within the next few days or so. Um, so yeah, hope you found this useful, and I will see you in the next one. Enjoy the new year, and I'll catch you in the next one. Ciao.